What's up, everyone? Michael Heath with Get Automating, and today we're going to complain about manual follow-up. If I can automate something and it's worth the squeeze, let's go do it. But at the top of the list, I hate following up. Sending an email just to ask about a status of something. Here's the scenario. Got a platform, holds my pipeline activity. I've done all my task. Now it's time for somebody else to step in. No communication. It just sits there and rots. But there's a solution here. Use Prompt Builder to craft an email around the records and use Power Automate to parse through the records and send out that AI-generated personalized email per record. Or they could just practice better communication.
Get automating, enhancing humans daily.
Now, before we get started, it's important to understand we have a few pathways here that we can get those records out of our pipeline platform. We could use RPA to scrape the website or even go in and click the export button. But again, we want to get to results as fast as we can. Is it going to be worth the squeeze to construct some sort of RPA workflow? And at this time, no APIs exist. At least I don't have permissions. You know who you are. So here we are. I've clicked the export button in my pipeline platform, and this is what I get. Now, I can use Power Automate to parse through this data, but again, I want to get to my results very quickly. I want 5 minutes of effort to construct an automation, and off I go. Easiest method is going to just be create a table here. So we're going to take this information, we're going to select it, we're going to insert a table. And boom, now we have a table. Save this to your cloud location of choice and head on over to make.powerautomate.com. We're here in our AI hub. We're going to select prompts. We're going to build our own prompt. We're going to give it a title, Automated Pipeline Checker, and we're going to give it some instructions. Now, instructions are important. If we're telling an agent what to do, we want to make sure they're very concise. Fortunately, we can use Copilot to help us with that. So now I've already created something that I want it to do. Need a prompt for an agent. We'll receive records from Power Automate that contain the project agent days, customer account, AE email, AE name. Use this information to send out an email, asking on project status, looking to update my pipeline. If I've spoken to you already, then please disregard. So we're going to copy that, place that right in here, and see what we get. So AI agent, this is what you're supposed to do. It's got some instructions. Use the fields that are provided. It's got some content guidelines as well. Output format in JSON. And it's got my dynamic data or my input. I like it, so we'll keep it. All right, so we're going to come down here and show it what good looks like. Now, immediately if I click on this, you'll see the sample data here is of a document, PDF document, Word document. We don't necessarily want that right now. We're going to be feeding it records, and for the most part, for this exercise, it's just going to be text. So we're going to give it a / and select text, call this record data. And we're going to come over to our pipeline, and we're going to copy this data so that we can add it to our sample data. And that's just fine. So if we test this out, let's see what we get. So here's our JSON array. To, great. Subject, great. And then body. Now, the one thing I don't like about this, if we pop this into an email right now, it's not going to have any formatting, and it's going to look really messy. So if we come down here to look at the output format, we notice the body, full email message as plain text. I just want to change that, say full email message as pretty HTML. I like pretty HTML. Let's test that out. Very perfect. You got some HTML in there. If you notice, the prompt here looks a little bit different. I accidentally closed out of this before I save, but it's very similar to the prompt results that I received earlier. You're going to get something different anyway, trust me. So I like that. And one thing I'll call out here is the output is in JSON. If this happens to be text, you want to make sure it's JSON. What we're looking for is to break these variables out into different fields. This is going to come in very, very handy as we populate our send an email action in Power Automate. Once we test that, we're allowed to save and off we go. All right, so here we are in the Create tab of Power Automate. we're going to click Instant Cloud Flow. We're going to name the flow pipeline checker, manually trigger the flow, and create. So the first thing we're going to want to do here is grab our data, and that's through Excel. So as you recall, we converted our records into a table, and that's ever so important, at least in the way we're doing it today, because it's the easiest. List rows present in table. So we're going to fill all this out and locate our document. Parameters are filled out. All right, so we have our data. The next thing we're going to do is run and apply for each. Why? Because we want to apply the next few actions for each record. Apply to each. Perfect. And the output is going to be the output from our list rows present in a table. And we want the entire record, so the body of that particular cycle. Then we can come in here and we're going to run a prompt. This is the prompt that we created previously. And we're going to grab our automated pipeline checker. And sometimes it takes a while for this parameter to pop in, but that's exactly what we want. And we'll pop in our apply to each current item. And the final action that we want here is to send that email. Send an email V2 right here. Now the parameters are easy. 2, come in here, use dynamic content. Now we get our lightning bolt. So 2, subject, subject, body, body, and save it on out. And of course, our final step is to test this flow. Hit the test button. All right, here we are. All right, all green check marks. And as we can see, we've sent off not one, but all 2 emails that we have in our sample data sent out to the respective recipients. Let's take a look at one of these. Got that ding. Boom, right here. Status check for Apex Manufacturing. Hi, Tony. Project title, company, how long it's been sitting there rotten. Come on, folks, 21 days. Nice little email body. So there you have it. I mean, tip of the iceberg here. You may not have this particular scenario, but I hope you start to understand the art of possible. Lots of different directions. Maybe we put this into Copilot Studio. I don't know. That would be cool. Maybe we'll do that next. Drop in a file, ask questions about your data, take action on your data, follow up. But these bozos that just leave stuff there, maybe I'll go do that now. Until then, get automating.